Well, hello there and welcome into Studio B and welcome to this all levels Vinyasa practice that I am calling Dare to Delight. So if you're anything like me, delight is one of those experiences or feelings that can feel a little frivolous and luxurious, and it's pretty easy to lose sight of. Some of the other emotions like fear or uncertainty or worry or anxiety tend to be a little bit more attention grabbing for me, whereas delight has a sort of shyness to it. There's a little bit of quiet quality to delight, and yet it's always there, and it's never felt more necessary and critical to cultivate and dare to delight than now. So we're going to start standing up, and we're going to begin with one of my favorite ways to begin a movement practice, which is with shaking. So we'll start just kind of shaking out one leg, one foot, really let it get loose, and switching sides. I think of this as a way to kind of like right away start to shake loose anything that's feeling a little stuck. Let the knees get bouncy. This is really intuitive. You don't have to overthink it. We're just kind of inviting the body to like, okay, we're here to move. We're here to be with delight and joy. And we're not going to be overly structured or technical about it. And then we're going to take this into American swing. So start to switch the weight of the body from side to side, knees kind of soften in the middle. And then as the name implies, start to let the upper body swing from side to side. No need to control the arms. They can just kind of sway. You might even find that they kind of wrap around the body. Eyes can be open or closed. And we'll go like this, maybe about 10 more seconds or so. And this is just a way, particularly when I have a shorter amount of time, to get me in my body just right away. And then I'm going to slow that American swing down and move to the front of my mat. Inhale, circle, sweep the arms out and up. Exhale, folding over the legs. Inhale, half lift. I'm going to step it on back to all fours position and start to move through some cat and cows. And I'm going to start to link these cat and cows to my breath. And I'm going to take them a little bit more speedily today. So a little bit faster. Feel free to close the eyes. Really building a little bit of heat with this. Pick up the pace. Don't overthink it. Keep going. Let it be joyful. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tuck the toes. Downward facing dog. Turn that right foot out 45 degrees. Deeply bend the left knee. Lean on in. Let it feel good. Don't overthink it. Switch it up. Left foot 45 degrees. Right knee bends. Lean on in. And then one more little warm-up flow here. Bring the heels together, feet turned out 45 degrees like a ballerina in first position. Bend the knees, knees come to the outer edges of the mat, sit back, child's. Float forward to all fours, tuck the toes, flip them parallel, and find down dog, feet are like railroad tracks. Lower the thighs, sit back, folded leaf. Inhale forward, tuck the toes, heels together, feet turned out. Wide-kneed child's meltdown. Floating forward, tuck the toes, feet parallel, down dog. Knees down, thighs parallel, folded leaf. One more time through that, tuck the toes, heels together, turn it out. Wide-kneed child's, drop it back. And forward, tuck those toes, and back, and folded leaf, and back. Downward facing dog, looking to the front of the mat, stepping forward. Take a half lift, inhale, and fold. Circle, sweep out and up. Palms together, moving through 3 rounds of sun salutations, totally classic. Those 12 positions that you know and love, nothing fancy, just getting that rhythm going. Inhale here. Exhale, position 1. Inhale, forward, up and back. And fold. Left foot back, left knee down, inhale, arms up. Finding delight in the simplicity of repetition, down dog. Either knees, chest and chin, or plank through chaturanga. Cobra or upward facing and downward. Left foot forward, right knee down, arms up. Right foot forward, fold in. Rising together. Just call in the numbers. Inhale. 1, 2, 3. Right foot back. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right foot forward. 9, 10, 11, 12. Last time, inhale. Daring to delight in this sequence that we know and love. Fold. Left foot back. Delight is simple. It's in the simple moments. Down dog. Moving through that vinyasa. Back bend. Dog. Left foot. Up. Folding. Rising. Sealing it out. Releasing the arms, standing tall, pausing for a moment, full breath in. Delighting in the ability to breathe without obstruction. It can be that simple. Opening the eyes, moving into tree pose. Vrikshasana, moving into a longer sequence here. We'll stand on the right leg first. Left foot comes up into the tree pose, finding your balance. Today we'll take those branches up towards the ceiling. They could stay in a V, or if you have the ability, bring the palms together, finding steeple mudra by interlacing the fingers, pointer finger up, arms gently hugging the sides of the head. Being in awe of the body. We know that everything is impermanent, so we might as well delight in our abilities while we have them. We'll step back into Trikonasana, triangle pose. So bringing the palms down in towards the midline. Staying connected through that transition as we step the left foot back. Open the body, take up the space, and dive on in. Trikonasana, triangle pose. There's no right place to be. There's no correct depth of the pose to drop into. It's just where the body takes you today. And then you delight in being right there. We're going to start to build a side plank. So drop your gaze to the mat. Left hand is going to become one of the foundational elements of that side plank. Pivot onto the pinky side edge of the left foot. Now there's 2 options here. You could walk the right foot back, keep another anchor of support, right arm up. Or you could move into a version of side plank with the right foot in tree pose. Right arm reaching up. Vrikshasana and Vasisthasana, 2. And then lower that right hand down. Pivot onto the other side of that left foot. You could lower the right knee down to the floor. Take a supported side plank here. Or you could take your left peace fingers around your right big toe. Rock star triangle. Extend that right foot forward. Look up towards the ceiling, breathing. And then we're going to come into a version of crocodile pose, bending the right knee towards the right wrist, right heel underneath the right hip. Keep your left toes tucked. Reach that left heel back. Puff up the front of the chest. And then soften the left knee, untuck the left toes. We'll really work with the back bending element of this pose. So we're going to slide the shoulders back, maybe stack your hands on the low back, or maybe interlace the fingers. Find chest expansion here, reaching the knuckles back towards the left foot. And then lowering the hands to the floor. Take your right knee out into a supine version of tree pose. So right knee comes out, right inner thigh on the floor, either staying up in seal or lowering down to Sphinx position with this tree shape in that right leg. Delighting in that relationship between the belly and the mat and the breath right now. And then spinal twist, threading the left arm underneath the right, rolling onto the spine. Maybe for some of you, cat pulling its tail feels interesting here. So holding the foot. Knowing we've been moving quickly, even though we've been moving mindfully. And so delighting in this moment of pause. And then we'll release, roll back onto the belly. Move through all fours. Tuck the toes, downward facing dog. And then looking forward, stepping forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold in. Folding out and up. And we'll straight away come to that second side. So left leg is the foundation. Right leg lifts up into that tree pose. Start to grow those branches up towards the sky. Maybe interlacing the fingers, finding steeple mudra, and that gentle hug of the head by the biceps. So if we hold as truth that impermanence is reality, everything is impermanent, then that actually allows us, it gives us permission to make that space for delight. Start to draw the palms in, step it back, moving into Trikonasana triangle pose, opening it up. Inhale, here's my space. And dropping in, trusting that body's wisdom to take me as deeply as it wants to go without going too far. And so in that way, delight doesn't feel frivolous. It feels nurturing. It feels like an absolute. Because we might as well delight in things while we have them. Let's start to build that side plank. Looking down, right hand becomes one of the foundational pieces. Pivot onto the pinky side edge. Remember, you could keep that extra anchor of support with the left foot down, or you could bring it up into that tree pose. Left arm reaching up. And then we start to flip over, lowering left hand down. Now for some of you, the left knee is also going to come down. Others, the right pinky, peace fingers are going to find the left big toe and extend that left leg forward for that rock star triangle. And then coming into our crocodile, left knee comes to the left wrist, left heel right underneath the left hip. Take a moment with the right toe still tucked. I'm going to reach my right heel back and bring that breath up into the heart. And then soften that back leg, untuck. And now we can really work with the back bending element of the pose. So for some of you, you're still going to want the anchors of support here. Others, hands come to the low back, and still some others will find that chest expansion. And then we started to drop forward. As the hands come down, my left knee is going to open up into this supine tree, either staying up in the Sphinx pose or lowering to the forearms, or up in the seal or lowering down for the Sphinx. Soft neck, soft face. Right arm threads underneath the left. Supine twist. For those of you craving it, cat pulling its tail is there by bending the right knee and reaching down with your left hand to find the top of the foot. And then gently unwinding, we'll actually recenter ourselves on our backs on the mat. And we're going to set up two options for our inversion. So one would be to come into waterfall position. So legs would come up. You could place a block or a bolster underneath the hips for a slight elevation here, and being here for about 90 seconds. The other would be to come into shoulder stand, and that's what I'm going to practice today. I'll guide you into it, and then I'm generally going to give you silence while we're in the shape. So using the arms alongside the body, palms down, gain some momentum in the legs to swing them up and overhead, and then bring the hands to the low back for support. You might sort of walk the shoulders in to really get the shelf of the shoulders in place, and then draw the legs to the ceiling. And then really committing to stillness here. And if you find difficulty arising in the pose, maybe playing a game of hide and seek with delight, knowing that it's still here even amidst the difficulty. Starting to drop the knees towards the nose, releasing the palms down, using them like brakes to roll one vertebra at a time to the mat. And shifting into fish pose as the legs find the floor, gently hugging the outer edges of the thighs, pressing into the elbows to tilt the pelvis, lift the heart, drop the head back. Either staying here, hugging the sides of the thighs, or if it feels of service, releasing the arms overhead in a diagonal line, palms together, maybe hovering the legs as well. 3, 2, releasing with care, coming onto the back. Full inhalation. Open the mouth. Twice more to guide us into Shavasana. Inhale. Open the mouth. Last time, inhale. And rest. 1 minute of quiet rest. Allow the breath to deepen, subtle movements to enter the body. And then in your own way and in your own time, making your way back up to a comfortable seat. Bringing the palms of the hands together in remembrance that you are worthy of delight. That doesn't mean that you obscure or push away any of the other realities of your life. It just means that delight is also one of those realities and deserves some space too. Jai Sri Sakaru Maharaj Ki.